All right, Ed, here we are. We're starting this process of going through these chapter chats
Yep.
about your book, Parenting with an Attitude, 21 Questions Successful Parents Ask Themselves. So what led you to write a book about parenting?
That's a good question. I think probably ought to start with a disclaimer. I don't work with kids. I work with adults who used to be kids. And what I've noticed over the 51 years that I've been in practice, Keith, is that so much of what's going on in a person's what I call current life pattern has its beginning in experiences and relationships and messages that adult heard as a little kid that now play out in their current life pattern. Every kid that's come down the pike, you and me included, we were born with a sponge-like brain inside of our head rather than a brain that we now have that we can reason and consider and disagree with. Our basic response to what we heard others say about us, what we heard was expected of us, etc., our basic response early on was, oh, so that's who I am. Mm-hmm. And so that's a large part of where personality develops. And I don't mean to minimize the nature part of personality, but so much of our personality begins with what we hear others say about us early on. Mm-hmm. A little kid that's told, you are so much fun to be with. Their response basically is, oh, so that's who I am. And then they set out in life to gather around them people who will actually reinforce what they were told, what they heard, what they concluded, the decisions they made. And so what I see in my patients, whether it's an individual or whether it's a married couple, is that a lot of the decisions and conclusions they came to as a little kid that actually might have worked just well in terms of protecting them or getting them what they needed, is they continue to use those decisions as if they still work, and yet they don't work. Just as an example, if a little kid grows up, and this is an extreme example, but if they grow up, when they're criticized, they're also demeaned, put down, their parents withdraw from them, they're punished. They grow up and now they're in this marriage where their spouse says, hey, can I give you a little feedback about last night? I'm a little frustrated over some things you did or said. When that baggage kicks in, that adult person now is going to basically respond the way they did as a little kid, unless they are aware of that baggage. And so much of my work with adults is to help them understand the baggage, and we all have it, the baggage they come into that relationship with, that when they aren't aware of that baggage and the effects of it, it can really wreak havoc in a relationship. And so that's really my primary focus is, what baggage do you bring in from earlier experiences? And by the way, that's not always early childhood experiences. They can also be from previous relationships, and they can even be from two months ago in our relationship with each other. But if it's interfering with what's going on right now, it's a problem. And so my book is based upon a lot of what I have heard from adults about their early childhood experiences, and the questions I ask and try to prompt good parents to think about are based upon a lot of what I've learned from adults who have discovered that there were some effects currently going on that came from those earlier years. Like one of the questions, maybe the first one, I'm not sure, is, do you teach your kid that they really matter? That's very, very important. And when a kid grows up feeling like, yeah, I'm loved, but my thoughts, my ideas, my friends, my schedule just doesn't matter, that can really affect and impact their current life pattern in their marriage or in their other relationships as well.
Yeah, and so from a perspective of being a parent, wanting to be a good parent, sounds like it's that awareness of how I'm parenting my kid, bringing my own woundedness from my childhood or all those ways I learned how to survive as a kid, how do I become a better parent by understanding that stuff? So that's what it sounds like. That's really what
Yeah.
the genesis of this book is.
Yeah, yeah. And at the end of each chapter, there are 7 or 8 questions, and the first 2 are always focused on, for the reader, what was life like for you as a kid? In other words, do you teach your kids that they really matter? The question is, did you grow up feeling like your parents, you really mattered to your parents? And when couples can talk about their background, they begin to understand the baggage that they and the other person brought in to the relationship, that when they are aware of it, they can control it.
Yeah, and they can choose to parent differently than how maybe they were modeled.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm looking forward to our chapter chats, kind of working through this, because as a parent of young kids right now, there's going to be a lot of stuff that I'm going to be probably bringing to the fore of these conversations.
Yeah, and a little blurb down at the bottom of the title is a book for good parents who want to be better parents. It's not for people who are just really blowing it, because they're probably not open to a lot of these questions.
Yeah.
But good parents, I think, will appreciate the trigger that some of these questions will bring to them, that'll help them really kind of evaluate and assess their attitude toward their kids.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's great. Well,
so
I'm
I
looking forward to it. Look
Be
forward
good.
to it. All right.